Welcome to Call to Post, the Off the Bench Podcast Network feature dedicated to thoroughbred racing. Hosting today's show will be Brandon Ferst, and Brandon will be joined by Raider Jim Martinez. Grab some paper, make some notes, enjoy yourselves. Let's talk thoroughbred racing. Riders up.
What is up, everyone? Brandon Ferst, aka First Report, representing the First Off the Bench Podcast Network. Everyone comes off the bench. We are first. Welcome into another edition of the original Call to Post here on the network, where we break down everything that North American thoroughbred racing has for us. And when I say we, it's myself and my co-host, as always, Raider Jim Martinez. You can find Mr. Martinez at Raider Jim 1090. Mr. Martinez, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. We are just days away from the Breeders' Cup, and I can't wait. I'll be at my ironing board this time in 2 weeks.
Yes, 15 days to be exact. If I was a better mathematician, I could tell you the hours, but not going to happen. So we are 15 days away from that Future Star Friday, where myself and Raider Jim will be. And then, of course, this Saturday at Del Mar, where all the other races will be going, of course, finishing with the Breeders' Cup Classic, which is ironically where we are going to start today, with news, unfortunately, of who's out. No, big time concerns other than the fact that, some of these horses may be a little better off either not running, not for all of them, because I did feel like Maxfield would be a contender in that race, but it is Maxfield, Happy Saver, and Dr. Post all have been ruled out of the Classic. I was reading the article, and it seems a little like the Classic's going to have closer to 8 or 9 runners rather than the original 14 that was expected. At the end of the day, though, we're still going to have a big fight at the end, with all due respect to Dr. Post and Happy Saver. I don't think they were big time money favorites. Maxfield, once again, I think could have been in there about 4 or 5 to 1, and definitely one to keep an eye on. But, we do still have, Knicks Go eligible, as well as, the favorite, I believe, Essential Quality. Unfortunately, no Midnight Bourbon. I know Midnight Bourbon won't be running, so you won't have to hear me talk about that horse. But anyways, Raider Jim, what are your thoughts on hearing about these 3 horses not electing not to run in the Classic?
Yeah, it's nothing earth-shattering to the lineup. You like to see good competitive fields, but at the same time, there's reasons they're not bringing these horses. They may just want to hold off and give them a fresh start, or give them a nice closeout to the end of the year, instead of putting all the stress of travel and then getting them back to wherever their home track may be. So that's good. I think the thing that came out for me that was big Breeders' Cup news is the Breeders' Cup demanding extra drug testing for all the Baffert entries. And that's wow. He's getting a lot of heat right now, and he is still contesting the Medina Spirit Kentucky Derby drug test results, and now they've come up and said, yeah, you want to run in the Breeders' Cup, go right ahead, but we want this done beforehand. So going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the scrutiny is well deserved. It's the Medina Spirit. Once again, we've covered it in the past. The Medina Spirit situation was not a one-time thing for Mr. Baffert. But, we have also highlighted that it is not the egregious things that we've seen in the other, I think, is it Service out in New York with his situation. But yeah, for Baffert, he will be there Breeders' Cup weekend. But yeah, all those extra horses all of his horses gonna have that extra bit of scrutiny, with which, is deserved. And I think will help clear things up. But I tell you what, if one more little tick comes down, especially on Breeders' Cup weekend, I don't want to speculate, but that would be a Pandora's box of situations going down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And another bit of news, we will not see Mishriff, who was expected to be the favorite in the Filly and Mare Turf on Breeders' Cup weekend. That Irish horse will not be running in that one. So I think I saw it was Tarnarwa, who is expected to be the favorite in that race, but no Mishriff. Apparently, I think I read the quote, nothing crazy. They're just kind of, the owners are targeting next year's Classic as what they want. And for it to kind of line up like that, they feel like this horse ran a lot this year. It is a European horse So they're just going to let it chill for the rest of the year. And like I said, get ready for next year on the dirt at Keeneland in the 2022 Breeders' Cup. But we are looking ahead this weekend to two big races, or four races, I should say. Two at Keeneland, two at Belmont. It is a little bit of a slower time. Once again, most of the big races are kind of wrapped up as everyone kind of got themselves slotted for the Breeders' Cup. But we got some races to look at. We will start at Keeneland. This will be, of course, Saturday. Race number 7. It's the Perryville. It's an ungraded stakes race, $150,000 purse, going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Race number 7. Raider Jim, I will give you the honors to get us started on the Perryville.
Great field. I mean, 9 horses, but it's pretty tight as far as the odds go. The one that stands out to me, and I can't understand what does everybody know that I don't know, but to look first blush at everything, at the field, I really like number 7, Irish Unity. Although you look at the odds right now, it's 12-1, definitely not the morning line favorite, but at 12-1, let me tell you, this horse is 4 out of 5 in the money. 4 out of 5 in the money the last time's out. It has 2 winner circle, 2 places the last time out. Came in 10th, I believe it was in the last race, but there was something happened in that race and it didn't even get entered into the rundown after the recap of the race afterwards. But number 7, Irish Money, I would watch that horse real close. That's not going to stay at 12-1. So if you want to get it now, now's a good time to do it. Try to get it right now. And then also, I also like, he's my honey badger out of the 4 spot. And that's 6-1. Florent Giroux and Brad Cox, a great jockey trainer combination. 6-1 right now. You can't beat it. Honey Badger had a bit of a rough start the last outing, but is still doing very well. Very respectable horse. And then the other one I like is the 2-horse Boca Boy. Boca Boy right now also at 12-1, but has a great record, puts up some good speeds, and I think will be very competitive in the field. And of course, there are you do have Pick and Time is the actual morning line favorite, the number 5 horse, and will probably, of course, run a good race. But I'm going to really watch Irish Unity on this one.
Yeah, Irish Unity, I think there's a lot of recency bias. Last time out, as you said, just according to the notes, was chased inside and at that point kind of weakened in the last quarter mile. Those things, happen obviously, but before that was running in the, even going back all the way to June, ran in 92 and then was in the 84s. And those are, of course, buyer scores on my end. Keep an eye there. The first horse that kind of jumped out to me was the 1-horse Soup and Sandwich. Took me a minute to figure out why, but this is a horse ran in the Kentucky Derby last time out. Didn't run very well. Struggled, was eased. I don't even think it finished. According to this, it finished 65 lengths off the lead. I don't even know how that's calculated, but thank you for that. So it's been obviously a long time. It's 3-1. Myself, I think those are way too short of odds to kind of see what this horse is going to do on its return. Obviously, this is an ungraded stakes race, a big step down from the Kentucky Derby in terms of class. 2 horses that did jump out to me, besides the ones you've already talked about. The 6-horse Pipeline, the last 2 runs for this horse, first of all, it's been in the maiden special weight, finally broke its maiden last time out for this 3-year-old colt. But the last 2 runs have been 97s on the buyer score. Even its debut was at 78, ran a 74 on turf. For a first 2 runs for a horse, those aren't too shabby. Normally, if you run a 78, 74, and a 97, one of those, if not 2 of those, is a win, but it actually took its 4th time out to get that win and stayed strong with that 97. Currently 4-1. It is, of course, Chad Brown, Velasquez aboard. So I do expect that number to kind of drop down a little bit. Another one that I'm looking at is the 8-horse, is Cool Quest. Another horse last time out that finally broke its maiden and did it very respectfully and very impressively, I should say. Ran in 92, won by 8.5 lengths. So for Cool Quest, obviously 4th time out. A lot of these horses, the 2 horses I just talked about, They're 3-year-olds who have made their debut this year. So kind of a bit of a year behind everybody, or at least some of the bigger horses, or at least some of these horses that run at this level. But yeah, Pipeline and Cool Quest, both at 4-1, enough for me to kind of look at and see what goes down. And then in terms of one of the horses, let me just see where, okay, Pickin' Time. That's what the other horse I wanted to talk about. Last time out for this horse, ran in the Gallant Bob and, finished 7 lengths off the lead, but the winning horse there was Jackie's Warrior. So obviously Pickin' Time, being 7 lengths off of Jackie's Warrior at your best might not sound amazing, but in a race like this, I think that will compute to a win, or at least something in the money in that situation. 7-2 at the moment. Like you said, it's going to be interesting to see where this horse goes. It's been running. I mean, this is a horse that ran in the Haskell. Once again, didn't run very well, but ran in the Haskell, is very is used to the higher class races. And this is a bit of a lower class, at least in terms of the stakes that we usually talk about on the program. But moving on to race number 9 at Keeneland. This is a grade 2 for $250,000 purse for 3-year-old fillies, 7 furlongs on the dirt. I'll get this one started as I roll through. First one I would like to talk about is Super Sensational, 4-1 at the moment. This is a horse, once again, ran in the test, in the grade 1 test, I should say, the Victory Ride, the Bells, a bunch of grade 2, grade 3s, and has been okay. We go back to the Victory Ride. It was a grade 3, ran a 95, nothing to sneeze at there, but 4-1, I do think that number's a little maybe shorter than I would like. The 7 horse, Celia, is a horse that actually beat Super Sensational last time out. Got the job done by a half a length, has won 4 of its last 5 races, including 3 straight. At this somewhat level, it started at the ungraded stakes level, struggled a bit in the Beaumont, but at the ungraded stakes level, got the win. And last time out, as a 10-1 shot, defeated Super Sensational in a grade 2, just like we're looking at here. Is going to stretch out to 7 furlongs, where that Beaumont was. Could be a bit of a concern there, but at 8-1, I'm willing to pay that. And then the last horse I would like to talk about is Obligatory. I believe the favorite, if I'm doing my math correctly, which probably I'm not, but anyways, 3-1. You got, of course, William Mott Training and Florent Giroux aboard. Has to be one of the best. Obviously, this is a horse, last time out was 2.5 lengths back to Clairiere. That was in the Cotillion. Actually beat out Army Wife. There was a lot of talk about Obligatory in the Filly and Mare Sprint coming up at Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup. That obviously isn't going to happen with this horse running here. But at 3-1, if you can get that horse around 3-1, that's very, very good. I think this is a horse that definitely is going to contend at the very least. It's just depending on where it ends up. Unfortunately, I think it's going to end up a little closer to even money. But Raider Jim, what are your thoughts on the grade 2 Raven Run Stakes?
Yeah, I will tell you, see, the number 7 horse is my field favorite in this one. It just, what a horse. I mean, it's got winner circle the last 3 times out. I think it's 3 out of 4 for the last 4 races at 8-1. If you can get it at 5-1, 6-1, I know it'll drop a little bit. And this, this, you and I have talked about it since day 1 when we started this thing. For me, genetics is a big thing. This is California Chrome's little girl. So the genetics are there, and she is also California Chrome's first black type baby. And a black type winner means that they have won or placed in a high stakes race. So this is a horse to be reckoned with at 8-1. Like I say, if you can get this horse at 6-1 by the time the flag goes up, I think that's going to be great. So watch number 7. You also want to watch, as you already pointed out, 2 of the ones that are on my ticket, number 4, number 13, Super Sensational and Obligatory. I think both great horses, both going to finish in the money, are going to threaten. I would finish underneath with number 11, Miss Speedy. And I believe, I don't have my glasses on, it's either a 6 or an 8-1, but still great record, great, good speed. And so, 3 out of 4 times this horse has won this year in 2021. So not to be overlooked is number 11, Miss Speedy, but number 7, can't wait to see her take the course.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see where this number ends up. I think we have a real opportunity, like you kind of pointed out with Celia, to make some money at even 5-1. I think that's an incredible
5-1,
value.
I'm good.
Yeah, all day, across the board, if you really want to, because that's a horse that I believe at the very least is going to get you in the money. And at 5-1, I think you'll feel okay about that. And then it's funny you brought up the genetics part of it, because I did all that and, broke the horse down. And then the minute I stopped talking and passed it over to you, my screen was stuck on there. And I looked immediately at the sire and went, huh. Oh, and if there wasn't already enough, it's a California Chrome pedigree. So a lot working for Celia. We'll see if that horse can get the job done in the grade 2 Raven Run Stakes. Once again, 7 furlongs on the dirt. That's race number 9 at Keeneland this Saturday, the 23rd of October. But moving our attention over to Belmont Park. This will be once again Saturday, October 23rd as well. We'll start it off at race number 8. It's a grade 3 for $200,000 purse for 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the turf. I'm sorry, 3-year-old and up fillies going a mile on the turf. The Widener turf course, just to clarify if anyone is out there critiquing. But anyways, it is the grade 3 Noble Damsel Stakes. Mr. Martinez, I will pass it over to you, give you the honors to let us know about the Noble Damsel Stakes.
Yeah, Tama here is the favorite right now, the 10 horse. That's going to be Irad Ortiz and Chad Brown right now at 9-5. And Brown's got another horse running in this field, ridden by Jose Ortiz. So we've got the Ortiz brothers and Chad Brown teaming up, and that's going to be the 6 horse, Love and Thunder, at 5-1. And I like that horse a lot, out of Ireland. So watch 10 and 5 for sure. 10's going to probably win this one. It's the class of the field. Then watch the 5 horse Shifty She, 9-2 right now. I really should put them on. I can't see. And then of course you've got the 3 horse High Opinion, 3-1. But I really, going back to the 10 horse here. Let me get the record up. I had it. There it is. Oh, you're only going to see results for showing at 1 to, finished 1 out of 2. Showed up in the money though. Winner Circle last time, good in speed in the Violet Stakes. Also came in 4th in a grade 2 stakes race after that. Before that came in 2nd in this allowance optional claiming. Good horse, good speed. And again, Chad Brown together with Irad Ortiz, they're going to get the most out of this horse. Watch it to finish in the money, probably into Winner Circle.
Yeah, and one thing that's very interesting to me, and it always a little interesting, obviously, Tama here is definitely the horse to beat here as well. But the second favorite here is actually the 8 horse Truth Hurts, with a big asterisk on it. This is a horse that's only entered for the main track, meaning if it's raining at the time of this post, they will move this onto the dirt course, or the main course, if you will. So Truth Hurts at 2-1. Obviously a lot is expected of this horse if we do move to the dirt. But it just, a little odd. I feel like obviously with Truth Hurts, there's somewhere in the next few weeks, I'm sure this horse would be more comfortable running, being a bit of an alternate. Might not be it, obviously, but they know more than I do about it. So just throwing it out there. I did look up the weather. There's a possibility that there could be some weather at that time. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well. But yeah, in terms of Tama here, definitely this is another very international flavor race, because I also look at the 6 horse Love and Thunder. As you talked about Ortiz on board there. Who is that? I'm sorry. What was it? Is it Jose Ortiz?
Yes.
Jose Ortiz. And then, of course, Chad Brown, as you brought up. Love and Thunder, an Irish horse, is a horse that's been in the high 80s in the buyer score on the turf. But the 5 horse as well is a horse that jumps out to me. Ran at Kentucky Downs in September on the ladies' turf. and ran in 94, didn't really factor in the decision. It finished fourth and only 2 lengths off the lead. But, you know, in a bettor's world, you know, fourth doesn't pay unless it was the back end of a superfecta. So fourth is nice on paper, doesn't go towards that. Last horse I will bring up is High Opinion, another horse that's been running very high in the buyer numbers. Last time out at Saratoga in August, so a bit of a layoff here. Did run a 94 once again, you know, a mile and a how, finished second to Valladera. So keep an eye there, 3-1. I want those numbers to go up a little bit because, you know, the 94 was by far the best run of its career. And it's going to take a lot to take down Tama here, who's last time out ran a 105. And
Right.
that will win more than likely, once again, at the Breeders' Cup, or at least get you in the money in a Breeders' Cup race, let alone a grade 2, or I'm sorry, this is actually a grade 3 at Belmont. So we'll see how that goes. Definitely keep an eye there. Once again, just, you know, truth hurts. If for whatever reason that race gets moved to the dirt, Truth Hurts is going to be a big time favorite because there are going to be a lot of horses that aren't going to want to run. So we'll see how that goes, just throwing that out there. But last race we will be talking about here on this edition of the Original Call to Post is the grade 2 Hill Prince Stakes. This is a mile and an eighth for 3-year-olds on the turf, the inner turf at Belmont. Let's go over the tote board here as the favorite is, my notes are gone, give me 1 second, Public Sector. And this is a horse, Public Sector, that's been running, we've covered, I think, a couple times this year. Last 2 times out, ran in the Hall of Fame in the Saranac, won both of them at Saratoga. So a New York, you know, a New York veteran, if you will. It's a horse that's been in the winner's circle half of its runs, 4 out of 8 runs, 7 of its 8 runs have finished in the money, currently 5-2, ran an 89 last time out. That's pretty much where it runs about that. The other horse, though, I'm really keeping an eye on is Soldier Rising, the 11 horse, currently 3-1. But I think this horse could possibly go up a little bit. It is an international horse, bred in Great Britain, does have 2 runs in the States, has done very well in both, finished both in second place. The Saratoga Derby Invitational was a grade 1, and then a Jockey Club Derby Invitational, which I believe was $1 million purse, finished second there to Yabir, who I think we talked about that one as well a couple weeks back. But Soldier Rising, definitely a horse to keep an eye on. It likes Belmont, it's finished second, and it likes the New York air as it's been at Belmont and Saratoga. But Raider Jim, what are your thoughts on the grade 2 Hill Prince Stakes?
Yeah, you got it. I think 9-horse Public Sector, that horse's race to lose, quite honestly. Just top of the field right there, along with Soldier Rising. Soldier Rising is going to be competitive. I think that's a strong in the money favorite for your ticket. I also like number 10, Never Surprised, at 5-1 right now. Watch that horse, you know, 2 wins out of 4 starts this year. Not the most experienced horse, but, you know, everybody makes their move somewhere along the way. And this could be a good race for Soldier Rising, or excuse me, Never Surprised. But the one I really, really, really like, and I would even tell you that I will probably be underneath with Never Surprised, because my real third pick for this ticket will be, where is it now? The 5-horse War Bomber, Irish horse. Right now at 12-1, that might go down to a 10, might go down to a 9. This is a Canadian horse, and this horse has been in the winner's circle the last 3 times out. And it's one of those things where maybe they're just not familiar enough with it, the track stewards, the handicappers. This is a horse that's going to put together a good race. It's going to put on good speed. And I would be very careful with that horse. I will not leave that horse off my ticket.
That's a great call. This is a horse last time out. It looks like it was at Woodbine. It was I can't pull up the purse on it, but it looks like an ungraded stakes race, 134,000. at Woodbine up there. And it was 20-1 and came in, got the job done, 2 lengths. It's a horse that's won its last 3 races since it broke its maiden when it was up there. This is, definitely a horse. Last night when I was going over these and looking them over, we didn't have the morning lines weren't available. And it was just, the stats. And I always kind of like to go through and look at the numbers, especially a lot of these horses I'm not too familiar with, and just throw what I would put the morning line at. I had this a little closer to 5 or 6-1 when I was kind of looking everything over, and for it to come out at 12-1, I think that's a great opportunity for this horse. It's just, like I said, I think, the 3 horses you talked about, kind of the outside, 9, 10, 11, going to make life very difficult. Not going to be, it's just a big step up in class 4 War Bomber, but sometimes look, the last 3 runs, no one's really been close to this horse. It's been a length or more in all 3 of those races. Sometimes that horse just, it doesn't matter who you put in front of them. Sometimes horses are just winners, and that could very well be War Bomber. And I'll tell you what, at 12-1 morning line, I think most of us are very willing to put a play show pick on that horse.
Absolutely.
Because I think you could make probably more money that way than if you were to put that, win play show on, any of those other 3 horses that are a little tighter odds there. But
and back in March, not a good showing at Gulfstream. And then there was a layoff until June. Again, not a good showing. But after June, ran the horse again in 30 days, winner circle. Ran the horse again in essentially 30 days, winner circle. Another 30 days, winner circle. They may have found the spacing for this horse that it likes. Doesn't like to have too long of a break. So if this horse is healthy and the workouts are looking good, you're right in that 30-day rest period for the horse to get back on the track. I'm telling you, this is going to be a horse that's probably going to run a fantastic race.
I agree. And I will say, just to be devil's advocate, I was looking over the workouts. I don't know if this is the end all be all and why they decided to, make it 12-1 on the morning line, but its latest workout was October 16th. So 5 days ago at Woodbine. 80 horses ran 4 furlongs. Every other horse was faster than War Bomber. Now, once again, workouts don't mean a ton. It doesn't even necessarily mean they even wanted to stretch the horse out. However, when you're 80 out of 80 in your latest workout, I think there will be some skepticism, but I think you can also look back at some of the other workouts. September 26th,
3 weeks before that, right?
Of 123 horses that ran it for 4 furlongs. So, we don't quite know what these workouts are intended to do. Or, I mean, we do, right? We know what they're intended to do, but not really. We don't know what the trainer and the connections and the jockeys are working on that day.
And as we've talked about it, you also don't know, how's the horse really feeling?
Yeah.
What time, sometimes you just, it's like a human, a person. You just don't want to get out of bed and go do the stuff in the backyard you're supposed to do. Eventually you get up, you get out of bed, you go out, you do a little bit of maybe you didn't do everything you might have normally done the weekend before. Maybe the horse just wasn't feeling it that day. Who knows? And maybe they were smart about it. Maybe they could tell that. Maybe the jockey felt that and said, well, we're not going to push. We've got a race in a week. I'm not pushing this horse.
Yeah. And a lot of it too, these animals are very in touch, very in tune with what's going on. They know it's not race day. They know that, okay, they don't need my egg. We're doing this or we're doing that. They know it's 6:30 in the morning. The only time they pull me out for this is when they, have me run with all the other people, kind of briskly around. But they know when it's race day. They know when they get that extra, sugar cube or extra carrot in the morning, that it's time to run and get loaded in the gate. But it's going to be very interesting. I think there's a lot of value here this weekend in these races. And I think an opportunity, with all eyes kind of on the build up to the Breeders' Cup, to make a little bit of money here these weekends and build that bank account for the Breeders' Cup coming up, these 10 or 11 races that we will be breaking down. I believe probably in the next few weeks. I think the PPs will be dropping probably by next week. a very kind of rough estimate. We might not have post positions. We definitely won't have morning lines next week, but we may have a bit of a better understanding of who will be running and who won't. But with that, final thoughts, Raider Jim, for another episode here of the original Call to Post.
No, it's kind of nice. We did a pretty good job on tracking all the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series races. I think we did a real good job. So congratulations to you and good work. And I think now it's kind of like we can just go on cruise control for the next couple of weeks. But like we both said, 2 weeks from today, don't know if I'll sleep.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's a bucket list situation. My dad always talked about, the Breeders' Cup and, watching on TV, me watching the Kentucky Derby and going, okay, enjoy the Kentucky Derby. But the real right. championship of horse racing is this Breeders' Cup. And, as I got older, and my attention span got a little longer, rather than the 2.5 minutes that the Kentucky Derby is, rather than the whole weekend that the Breeders' Cup is, it was always, hey, we'll get that opportunity. And back then it was either Santa Anita or Hollywood Park. And I think I told you this story, Raider Jim, but my naivety of the first Breeders' Cup, thinking that I could just stroll right on up and pay my $6 as I normally do. Nope, not that weekend. Luckily, I didn't leave the house. My dad kind of told me, he's like, you might need to make a couple phone calls. And I made a couple phone calls, and bless their hearts, they didn't laugh at me. They just told me, yep, we'll see you in a few years, because it will be back. And guess what? Here we are, just a few days, 15 days away. I cannot wait, and it'll be a lot of fun. But with that, thank you all so much for listening to this original Call to Post presented by the First Off the Bench Podcast Network. Everyone comes off the bench, but we are first. It is time for you all to go wash your hands and stop hating everybody. We'll talk to you all very soon. Take care.
Bet smart, bet safe.